Modax Consulting presentations on Acumatica ERP. I'm Brian Roberts, a senior consultant with Modax, and today we'll be taking a look at sales pricing in Acumatica. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the default price you can set in your items. We'll look at some of the base sales prices and get into some options for customer-specific pricing, as well as some other features that are available for more options for specific pricing. And finally, we'll look at the sales price worksheet, which we can use to do bulk updates to pricing. So let's get started. So in an Acumatica sales order, I created just a very quick demo one. What we're really looking at is, where did this price come from? We've got a customer, we've got an item, we've got a price of 500. If I change the quantity to 3, our price updates automatically to a different price. What we're looking at is, where did those numbers come from? So first of all, on your stock item setup, there's a very simple pricing method that may be all that you need. So in our stock items and non-stock items as well, in the price cost info, there is a default price down here. Our default price for any customer is just $500. If this is all you need, that's great. I mean, you're done, don't need to watch the rest. However, you may want more complex scenarios, customer specific, or you may want a history because there's going to be a price increase first of the month and so on. This default price doesn't handle those situations. So what you're looking for is the sales pricing option here. And when you hop in here, it's going to list all prices that are available. So let's just take a look. Let's start with base prices. These are prices that apply to all customers. And you can see that these are the items we have base prices set up for. And for example, this laptop computer has a base price for all customers of $500. You may notice that this Lego item is there a couple of times in the list. I'm just going to filter to it quickly so it's easier to see. We have different prices, and we have expiration and effective dates. So this is one of the advantages to sales prices that you don't get with the default price. So this particular price is there, it's got an effective date. Perhaps you want to do an increase in this price. And so you can manually add a new price in this screen. I'm showing you the manual method first. Later on, I'll show you a method to do it automatically. So very quick, picks up the item because I'm already filtered. I want my new price to be, I don't know, we're going to raise it to 120. And just let me scroll over here. Yeah, we'll take effect today. And notice that I now have 2 prices with an effective date and no expiry date right there. If I try and save at this point, it will get an error message telling me that I need to clarify that this particular date right there needs to finish. And I actually need to backdate it to yesterday because my new price takes effect today. So any new sales orders, click for any customer because we're in the base list. Starting as of today, we'll get the $120 price instead of the $110. So these effective and expiration dates, they work great for sort of your annual increases, quarterly increases, that kind of stuff. You may also have promotional prices. You've got a summer sale. For the month of October, we want to offer a discount, but after October, we want to go back to our regular price. That can be set up through promotional pricing right here. So I'm just going to add end of the line. I'm going to set up a discount for October. And I don't know, let's do $98. And rather than filling in dates here, I'm going to say this is a promotional price, a checkbox, and do, what did I say, 1st of October, I think I did, talked about, and up to the 31st. So in this case, even though we have a overlap, this one is flagged as promotional. When Acumatica is figuring out what price to use for a customer on a sales order, promotional prices take priority. It will look at promotional prices, give them the $98 for October, assuming the sales order is in October. And then if it doesn't find a promotional price, then it will go back and look at the remaining prices. So there's various options for date control, including promotional pricing. I do want to talk about some other options that are available in this screen. So let's take a look at some customer specific pricing. We're now talking about pricing for one customer only. Oops, let me clear out the Lego item. And in this case, for this particular customer, when they buy this computer, if they buy a quantity 3 or larger, they pay $475. And that's the sales order example you saw right at the beginning here. Notice there's not a line that says break quantity of 0 gives them 500. In this case, the customer specific pricing takes effect if they buy 3 or more. If they don't, it falls back to the base pricing. So you only need to set up your exceptions here, volume discounts for certain items or certain customers if that is your scenario. There's a few other options that are available on the screen that I'm not going to go through a lot of time demonstrating, but I do want to talk about them in case one of them sort of matches to your business needs. You can set up groups of customers. This would need to be done on the customer. And then you would, for example, have pricing for all retail customers different from all wholesale customers or something like that. You also can set up different pricing based on unit of measure. So for example, you might have a price for an each, and if they buy a whole case, they get a price that is slightly cheaper. So you can have two lines here that are identical for all the details like item and dates and stuff, but the unit of measure is different. A couple other sort of options here that are not commonly used but may apply to you. You can have different pricing based on the warehouse you're shipping from. So in that case, possibly this would be handled through freight charges, but could be set up through different prices as well. And if your prices include tax, you can specify here which tax is already included. And that will prevent us tax from being added on again on the individual sales order. Blank here means that this price is pre-tax. So we've taken a look at a couple of sort of the options there. I've just talked through them quickly, but please reach out if you sort of wanted to see more details or had questions about the units of measure or taxes or any of those other options I just briefly talked about. The next thing I want to talk about is doing an automatic update in prices. New year coming, you're going to publish a new price list. I showed you using that Lego item how to do it for one item. We don't want to do that by hand. So I'm just going to grab a smaller collection of prices here, just all my base prices. And what I'm going to be doing in a moment is creating a price worksheet that will let me figure out what my new prices should be. However, if I click that right now, it's going to complain that it doesn't know what date to use for the base price. So I need to put an effective date of, and I certainly can do today. So basically this is now filtered. So we've only got one price per item. So it knows what our base or existing price is for all these items. And again, other filters here as well. I've said base, but you certainly could be choosing a customer here and picking one customer if you're going to have a negotiation with that customer about price increases. So once that is done, I'm going to create a price worksheet. This will copy in all of the prices you saw on that previous screen. And it has come along and it has picked up the source price. Those were all the prices where I was looking at. There's a column here for pending price. This will be the new price that is going to take effect once I release. It doesn't take effect yet. I could just type in new prices here manually. Maybe you wanted to individually review each price. So this gives you an option to prepare a list of proposed changes and discuss them before it takes effect. You also don't have to type them in manually. For example, you can calculate your pending prices based on, for example, I don't know, 105% would be a 5% markup on all your prices. And in this case, my 105 is going to be based on my source price, which came from my sales prices, but there are other options here. Clicking update is going to fill in this pending price column. So I now have 500 plus this amount and so on. And I still can manually change this. Yeah, I want 5% on most items, but in the computers, oh, I just want 520, and you can just sort of zoom through. If it's easier, don't forget that there is the export to Excel and then import back from Excel. So it might be easier to mail a spreadsheet around, possibly to the customer instead of somebody who doesn't have access to Acumatica. So whatever method works best for you there. Once you're done with this, save it, take it off hold, and do the release there. That will take effect and update the sales price screen that we were looking at a moment ago. So we've taken a look at some of the sales price options in Acumatica. Certainly not all of the pricing options. There are others available. But the base sales price and customer specific pricing that we looked at should cover the majority of situations. If you have unusual pricing situations or would like to discuss pricing in Acumatica or anything else Acumatica, please reach out to Modax Consulting. We would be happy to assist you with Acumatica or any pricing or additional information. Thanks for your time.